And the camera's on?
It is.
Good evening, everyone. This is a Meadows Place City Council joint public hearing. This is Tuesday, April 26th, 2022 at 6:02 p.m. Item A asked me to call to order and announce a quorum is present. On City Council, we have a quorum present. We're missing Kel Mills. On the P&Z, speaking for them, they have a full house. They have a quorum as well. Item B is to conduct a joint public hearing before the City of Meadows Place City Council and the Planning and Zoning Commission for the purpose of receiving written and oral comments from any interested persons regarding an amendment to the Meadows Place Code of Ordinances, Chapter 153, Section 153.98 N7B, regarding signs, commercial office, advertising to allow request the city a minimum 6 minutes of advertisement per hour. Okay. Do I have anybody from the public who wishes to address this issue?
Sorry, that's the auditor.
They need to go visit. It's about time they got here to visit. All right, so we have nobody who wishes to, from the public who wishes to visit on item B about the advertising. Oh, we do? All right.
Sorry, I'm having a little trouble hearing.
Me too. Step up and give us your name and your address and company.
Don Clabo, 11618 Brook Meadows. I'm at the first roundabout in case anybody doesn't know where that is. I would prefer not to have the rotating electronic signage, just as a matter of preserving the quaintness of our village. I somehow don't think that a rotating electronic sign is going to make life better for any of us. Thanks.
And give me your first name again.
Don.
Don, thank you very much, and your comments are duly noted, but I want to let you know that this has more specific target on the existing sign over Sterling McCall.
Oh, okay.
We're just, actually, this is a cleanup and we're changing language. So thank you for showing up and saying something. Council, anybody have anything? All right, then we shall close item B, move on to item C. This is conduct a joint public hearing before the City of Meadows Place City Council and the Planning and Zoning Commission for the purpose of receiving written and oral comments from any interested persons regarding a specific use application from 7 Multi-State Solutions per Meadows Place Code of Ordinances 153.094B2D3, allowing for automobile service station Jiffy Lube on the property located at 11720 West Airport Boulevard, Meadows Place, Texas. And we have, at this point, Amy Pearson with Jiffy Lube to come up and address council and the public. You want to talk to us and see if we can hear you?
Yes. Can you hear me? I can even speak up.
Just pull.
How's
You can
that?
pull the mic down a little closer to you, or maybe you can't.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for having me here tonight. My name is Amy Pierce. I'm with 7 Multi-Site Solutions, and our client Jiffy Lube would like to build one of their facilities at 11720 West Airport Boulevard. And I am here to talk to you a little bit about that. First, a little bit of overview of the business. Jiffy Lube International is a wholly owned subsidiary of Royal Dutch Shell, and they have about 2,000 franchises all over the U.S. Jiffy Lube, along with Shell, is a very risk-averse company. Their design, business operations, and safety record is exemplary. They really put a big emphasis on safety. The site will be operated by a preferred franchisee who runs facilities nationwide, and they have knowledge on how to operate and maintain a Jiffy Lube facility to the highest standards. The services that are proposed for this facility are oil changes, vehicle inspections, filters, fluids, battery replacements, brakes, and some tire replacement. And the focus is going to be on oil changes and quick in and quick out services. They don't want to do any full service, all drawn out thing. They just want, typically it'll be like half an hour to an hour services, sometimes a little longer depending on the vehicles. There will be no outdoor storage of any materials, parts, tires, that sort of thing. Right now they're proposing to operate between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. daily with reduced hours on the weekends. Their peak hours are typically Saturday afternoons, and they have about 4 to 6 employees per shift, and that includes the manager on site at the time. And that they will only service passenger vehicles. The biggest thing they could fit in there is probably maybe a dually or F-350, F-250 type vehicle, so you won't have big trucks there. And the location will not be, they don't expect it to be a big trip generator, maybe an estimated 50 to 60 cars per day on a busy day. For their process, I don't know if we'll show the plans a little bit later, but the way the building's laid out, the vehicles will enter the facility from the north side, and they'll enter the bays there. And the cars will not be idling while they're waiting. They'll shut their vehicle off, go into the customer lounge, and then before the vehicle is serviced, it will be moved inside the bay by one of the employees. And the vehicles will exit via the south bay doors when the service is complete. I know one of the big concerns will be the waste disposal and storage. The general and non-regulated waste will be removed daily and disposed of in a commercial dumpster. Used oil and fluids are stored in above-ground tanks in the basement. They are pumped and removed by an approved hauler, and it's pumped from within. They drive into the service bay and pump from within the facility, not from outside. The transporter then recycles the used oil according to state and local requirements. In the basement, where the fluids are stored, is completely waterproof and completely contained. If something does happen to spill down there, they have spill containment, and that entire area will hold all of the fluids in until it can be cleaned up, so that there is no risk of it entering the soil or the water or anything outside of the facility. An oil and water separator will be installed, but just for mop sinks and cleaning purposes. Every once in a while you'll get some grit from a car and maybe a little oil here and there that just needs to get mopped up, and that will be disposed of through the mop sink that goes through the oil and water separator so that it doesn't end up in the sewer system. And that will be serviced by an approved company as well that will come and pump that out occasionally. And deliveries and waste reclamation, it all happens during regular business hours because they need to sign the manifests for every pickup and every service of either the oil water separator or the fluid pickups, that sort of thing. So it will be during the day. Sound, I know we're also concerned with sounds that may come from the facility. All work is done within the bays, nothing's done outside. The separation distance between the residential properties, especially over on Brook Meadows Lane, we've got a 60-foot clearance there, plus additional 10 to 20 feet, depending on where we are in the building, because the bays are set back from the lounge area and the office area. Additionally, there's a fence there that will help absorb some of the sound, and they also intend to put in several trees and some shrubbery to kind of absorb any sound that would trespass from the building. We're going to try to be as quiet and nice to the neighbors as possible. We understand that that is probably a concern. And we'll comply with all local requirements and noise ordinances, that sort of thing. And also a note that the sounds that are being generated are not continuous in nature. It might be like an air compressor coming on for maybe a few minutes at a time, or perhaps an impact wrench, just a very, very short bursts of sound. So it's not a continuous noise all the time. For lighting, the building and yard lights are intended to be the minimum necessary for safety and access to the site. The lighting will meet all the county and city outdoor lighting ordinances, and they are dark sky compliant fixtures to make sure that we don't have trespass into the neighboring yards. The site and building overview. Essentially, we're on the northeast corner of the Strip Center at South Kirkwood and West Airport. And we are tucked up along, so the bay doors on the north is where the people will enter and then exit through the south. And the access to the site we're using existing access. No more driveways will be added. There'll just be the one off of South Kirkwood and then the one off of West Airport on the south side of the site. Let's see, setback. The setbacks on the east side, we're proposing to maintain the existing trees there because those are really nice trees and we would like to keep them. So we are proposing to add some landscaped areas around the trees with shrubbery and flowers, plantings, that sort of thing. And then also, as I discussed earlier, there's going to be a buffer of trees along the north side between the facility and the residences. The site circulation, we had talked about the vehicles going around to the north to enter the building and then exiting through the south. The employee parking will be on the west side of the lot. And there is a curb there and a separation between this site and the Jiffy Lube parking and the parking that would be for the daycare or the other businesses in that strip center. We want to make sure that we're not being a nuisance or a safety hazard to the neighboring businesses, especially when little ones can break free. Let's see. The building is, we talked about 60 feet plus away from the north property line, which is where the houses are. So we want to try to buffer ourselves from the houses so that we can be a good neighbor. Proposed landscaping, we are looking, there's several large trees that will be planted along the north side, along with some medium and small trees and some shrubbery, just to put in a nice buffer so that I don't know if you want to look at a Jiffy Lube, but if you do, you'll have to try a little harder because there's going to be trees in the way. We're requesting to preserve the existing mature trees on the east side and adding planting beds to that. And the remaining areas will be seeded or sodded to match the existing grass. And that is an artist rendering of the facility. And
are those the proposed colors?
Yes. Yes, that is one of their new color schemes that they are rolling out. And personally, I think it looks a lot better than stark white, but, it's all opinion. They would probably be willing to look at going to white or changing some of the color scheme if...
It was just a question.
Okay, just saying. They're probably open to making some changes if necessary. The signage, what they're looking at right now is signage on all sides of the building. And as you can see, the short ends of the building have very little signage. And we are also looking at a monument sign along South Kirkwood. And any questions?
Council, anybody have questions? Public, anybody have? Yes, please step up, give us your name again and your address. Amy, thank you. If you'd step aside and let public up there, appreciate it.
Don Clabo, 11618 Brook Meadows. I noticed that the building stated it had a basement. The building stated it had storage tanks in the basement, and then it said that the storage tanks were above grade. Are the storage tanks underground, or are they at level with the parking lot?
Please.
There's a basement, so it would be like having a container, or if you had, I wouldn't say gas can because that wouldn't be safe, but just having a container.
Not above ground, it's stated.
It's not an underground storage tank per se because it's not buried in the soil.
Can that basement flood?
It can flood, but it's only it's maintained within the facility.
Will the tanks be anchored so that they can't erupt when completely subsumed by flood water and they're mostly empty, containing air? And have a blowout like a cheap swimming pool?
That's a very good question. I imagine there's safety precautions for that.
Probably sever your safety connection. We flood here.
Right.
The adjacent roundabout was 4 feet underwater the last nasty storm we had.
Impressive.
Yeah, I would have to see that floodwater because that's not what we saw when we were reviewing that. I'm assuming you have this same configuration throughout Fort Bend County, Harris County.
Yes. Yes, they're very adamant that they want the tanks, any storage. They're not really tanks per se, they're actually smaller storage containers, but they want them to be where they can see them, not buried under dirt, because then they can't maintain them and look for leaks. And if something does happen, they want to be able to take care of it right away instead of waiting till someone digs it up when it's a problem, 20 years down the road. So
It's a definition issue with what, in order to be called an underground storage tank, it doesn't refer to basements, it refers to being buried.
Secondly, right now, pedestrian access for everyone in the neighborhoods, as opposed to the shopping area, is along the two walkways that have been constructed on West Kirkwood, accessing the entire greater city of Meadows. That means they're going to be bypassing your driveways for every member of the city that chooses to walk their children to that daycare. You perhaps consider putting in a landscape walkway behind your facility so that they wouldn't have to cross your driveways.
that is a good point. I will bring that up. There may be space for that.
Thank you very much again. Yes, ma'am. Please step up. Wait till you get there. Give us your name and your address.
Yes, it's Nora Paul, Norapaul, and the address is 11703 Brook Meadows Lane. And the questions that I have for the representative is, what is the height of that red sign? That's going to be right.
Okay, Nora.
Oh, I wanted to know what is this. Maybe she mentioned it and I didn't catch it.
Yeah, you need to speak into that.
Yes. So I want to know what is the height of that red sign marquee. Did she mention that? Yeah.
I didn't see it, but you mean the monument sign, the one that's out
Yes.
front? Do you know the height of that? There may have been dimensions, but I can't
And Nora, I will say this: we have regulations already on those, on monument signs like that.
Okay, and you have addressed that.
Yes.
My second question is, all these businesses have also a dumpster, and I wanted to see on the diagram where that's going to be.
It was shown.
It will be. Also have its own.
Okay, excuse me. Oh, were y'all talking? We couldn't tell because you weren't talking into the microphone.
Sorry about that. I was just explaining that the dumpster's going to be on the northwest corner of the site behind the landscape buffer. It will also have an enclosure per city requirements so that it's all nice and neat and wrapped up. And
Can
then
you
hidden
pull it
behind
up?
some trees.
Can you pull it back up there so we can
Yeah,
take a quick look? Thank you.
How do I go backwards?
First we could hear, and now we can see it.
Here we go. We're going to try. Okay, site plan. There we go. Okay, dumpster enclosure and dumpster are up in this northwest corner of the site. And no, the bathrooms are inside. They're inside. There's a separate restroom for the employees and then for the customers. And that's just for the
Anything
trash.
else?
Well, I'm going to interject. If this goes through, there may be restrictions on the number of signs and the height of signs that would need to be addressed during the design process.
Absolutely. As we have done elsewhere.
I know we only have 3 minutes. I have already voiced.
No, ma'am, this is a public hearing.
Oh, okay. I thought that it was
Now,
limited.
if you come up after the meeting, after the council meeting, we got you 3 minutes and then get out. But right now, this is a public hearing. This is a discussion because anything you may ask or bring up may be asked or thought of by someone else, so please.
Okay. Well, I have already submitted my letter, my opposition to this project in writing. My main concerns were, of course, traffic and safety, which was brought up by the other gentleman too. And then on the environmental impact, I was very concerned about that. Noise, of course, the air quality, the running engines, the hazard of waste that these businesses produce, and the impact on our health, which will impact the quality of life of our beautiful city, lower our property values, of course, and not just mine that is close, but maybe the whole city. I wish this letter that is sent to the homes that are 200, feet away?
200 feet away, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I wish it was sent to the whole city, because it affects them too. It's the entrance to our neighborhood, the other thing I was going to say is I looked at other oil change facilities, and there is a lot. There's 2 blocks south. We have the Quick Car Loop. It's 2 blocks, really, literally. And then there is on Dairy Ashford, Missouri City, on Eldridge, Murphy. Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I'm hearing my echo. I thought somebody was interrupting me.
No, you heard the phone.
Yeah, okay. So I just don't know whether there is a need for another one of this. In closing, I'll say that my main concern was about hazardous impact, the environmental. So I went to the website of the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, and they have a lot of guidelines about what these facilities, how they have to operate. I was a little bit alarmed because they had things in here that I hadn't thought of. Now, I know the representative has addressed some of this, and I know Shell is a really good company. My daughter happens to work for them.
And you're trying to put them out of business.
She works in the IT department, so maybe not. But some of the things in these guidelines that they wrote for this business are, the transportation, storage, disposal of things like the used oil, the used filters, all filters, things I hadn't thought of. Lead acid batteries, might be scrap tires, I'm not sure in this case. Antifreeze, transmission fluids, brake fluids, power steering fluids, wastewater, solid waste. Some of these things are toxic. Some of these things are corrosive. And there is going to be washing and degreasing of these auto parts. And then if there is spills, of course, there has to be a lot of care for this not to go into the surface water or the groundwater, And then they have this storage, also tanks above or below the ground.
If I can address that issue, we'd have to deal with that same issue here at the city. I've had to deal with it in the past as well. And basically what they're talking about is they're talking about having containers inside of a cement container that if every fluid that they have leaked, it would stay within there and would be self-contained. and those are all addressed as part of those TCEQ requirements. I'm glad you're bringing those up, and I want to say that we have to abide by them here as well. And we get TCEQ inspections coming out here.
Okay.
And so I want you to rest assured that we will make sure that they're abiding by them here in the city, okay?
That you're looking out for that.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I appreciate it. I made some notes from the website. Would the commission be interested in this, or
You can hand this right here.
Yeah.
If you'll hand it to this somebody in front of me, or just hand it. Okay. And Ms. Paul, we've all got your letter. Yeah, I just want to let you know that.
Well, I appreciate it. So these are my comments. I'm waiting for the Madeleine or some little restaurant to apply for a business in this area. Well, we keep getting these automotive requests. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Ms. Paul. Go ahead. You want to go show that U of H gear off?
I have nothing to do with U of H. It's just a shirt. My name is Jesse Rodriguez. I live at 11707 Brook Meadows. It looks like this is, I told Mayor Jessup, this is a monthly thing with auto places and the beautification of our city. Again, I really don't think that's what we want to see coming into our nice cities with your roundabouts with the pretty flowers, and I know they're trying to beautify them. And Nora said a lot of what I was going to bring up, the fact that we have a lot of automotive places around the city that do oil changes. I know we're going to be strict on compliances with their waste and all, but again, this is a franchise. So Shell and the mother company has to put out these guidelines that they go by, but we will be active in making sure they're followed. But if they're not, our repercussions is take care of it, move it, do it, get rid of it, make it right. But in the meantime, it's not followed, and that's an issue with me. Also, this is my own personal opinion. I think in the long run, electric vehicles are getting more popular. We do have a lot of established oil change businesses in the area. This place, she's saying 50 or 60 cars a day. What if it's 10 or 15? What if the franchise is not going to make the amount that they need to make to survive? Repurposing this property would be real hard to do if it is a Jiffy Lube garage type facility. And I don't think that would be something we wanted as a vacant auto place sitting vacant for a long time, not being used. And I may be a little biased because I'm right behind. I am the neighbor on the north side of that 60-foot space. And I know that the property owner would love to have this property leased, but I really don't think that Jiffy Lube is what I want right behind my house and what we want entering the city of Meadows Place. The grocery store is great. The daycare is nice.
Hey, Jesse, how long have you lived there?
I've lived there 30 years.
30 years?
Yes. Now, my wife was there when y'all incorporated into the city. So 37 years, 38 years.
And I assure you, in that 30 to 37 years, the owners of that property have been trying to put something in that corner all those times. So it's tough. I can't address the business aspect of it. I'm going to have to say that Shell Oil Company or Royal Dutch Shell has a business group that says that this will be a successful business. Whether it is or not, I don't know. But I share your concerns about what ifs, okay?
What ifs,
but I
right.
have to go with the fact that for this discussion that they have a business model that shows it to be successful.
Well,
I do also want to say, Jefferson, thank you very much, because I also share some of those same concerns about what do we do if, okay? I will also say that nobody's brought anything to this. I'm saying this, I'm using this opportunity to say this. You got a guy named Bob Graff over here that told me about somewhere between 15 and 20 years ago that we're going to have a hard time putting something in that corner. And it's proven to be. And I mean, we're not going to get an HEB in that corner.
No, we're not.
Rest assured on that.
We're not.
And we had a Meadows Place resident bring a Kelly's into this city. Okay.
and it's done real well.
And it's done great. And so,
But what you and I need, Mayor Jessup, is health food.
Kelly's fried chicken is
We
very
don't
healthy.
need Kelly's chicken fried steak.
but my
we
point-
need.
What would you? You're sitting there saying, "Let's not put something in." Have you got anything? Not put this in. What have you got to replace it? Have you got anything ideas?
I would love to have. I think it's in my mind, but it slipped out. I want to say Whole Foods, but not Whole Foods. That's the grocery store. But there's something called. It is basically a restaurant that's in, and they've opened a couple. One in the Woodlands and one in Rice Village. I would like one of those type delis that serve health food, and I'm really serious about that. I would like to see that type of establishment in that location somewhere in there, and I forgot what it's called. Not My Eats, but Local Foods. That is it. I would. You like it, right? We wouldn't like it, Meredith, but I would like to see something like that on there, because it's a very popular, very nice, very health food oriented place. That's what I picture there. Something, we have Starbucks across the street, and that's doing real well with the business and the going through. And I believe that type of establishment would do real well.
And you could
too.
thank that gentleman sitting right over there for both Aldi's and for Starbucks.
Well, thank you.
And he is sitting next to the owner of that property, and he's been trying for 28 years or 30 years to put something in that back corner. And so,
Understand.
letting you know that I just want everybody to know that this has not been a fruitless effort. We have.
It's not been an easy task. I understand that, but we want to make a right choice, not a choice, because it's been there for 37 years. I mean,
I got it. Duly
Okay.
noted. Thank you very much.
you're welcome.
Wise comments. Thank you. Anybody else?
Chris Rivers, Brook Meadows Lane, 11602. I don't know how many have actually run an oil change around here. I did it for 5 years. If you're proposing doing 40 to 60 cars a day, you're looking at probably every 6 weeks you're going to have somebody come in, Safety Clean, or another company coming in on a huge truck to emptying out all the pits. You're going to have another truck of Shell Rotella filling up your 5W30, your four major oils that you use. So one truck of each. So that's another load every 3 to 4 weeks probably, doing that many cars. Then you have all the barrels that you're not going to be able to store in those lines. So all your synthetic oils and everything that aren't stored below. They're usually stored on top. That could be an issue. I know that Jiffy Lube is a great company. I poached a lot of people, managers from Jiffy Lube in my time. But they all came to me because I paid more. previously. But that would be kind of a concern, especially for our area, because it does flood and everything. That would be my biggest thing. The services. Then you have, battery services coming in. Then you have different oil filters. So there's a variety of different trucks coming in at all times, especially at that location. It could be provided to be a little bit difficult going in. And apologize, I didn't see what kind of the fuel injecting services. Do y'all offer those as well or no? Okay, because you can't do those in a bay. And that's a lot of smoke, and I know a lot of people wouldn't like something like that going on.
I'm sorry, I missed what you were talking about.
Fuel injecting services.
Oh.
So you can't do those inside of a bay because of all the smoke and everything. And I worked in the Woodlands a long time, and so people in the Woodlands did not like that at all. And I know over here at Brook Meadows Lane, I've only been here 13 months, but yeah, similar type of people over here.
But we don't have that, is that correct, in this proposal? Okay. It wasn't on your list.
I'm sorry, I apologize. I just wasn't sure about that. But my biggest concern is not just one or two trucks bringing in the 1-2 types of different oil. It's a lot of different oils, barrels, different products and services and everything. Like I said, I wouldn't mind a Jiffy Lube being in our area, just not at that location. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else have anything to say? Yes, sir. Please come up and introduce yourself and give us your address.
Hi, Praveen Dayalan. I'm the owner of the property there. We purchased the property back in 2018 when it was distressed. Didn't really have, it was about 30% occupancy. We came in and we brought the occupancy up to about 88%. But, it's been a difficult journey for us to bring good business in there. Not only that, every time we come up with a proposal, obviously we give it, bring it up to the mayor as well as Bob. And, we're working closely with the city to ensure that we only have good tenants there. Even Jiffy Lube, we lease the land to them, so we still have full control on the property. It's not that we're selling the property and they're going to do anything they want to. I got 2 kids, little kids. And oil change, we all have cars, I believe. With Jiffy Lube, I've never heard of a Jiffy Lube had a problem anywhere in the city or anywhere in the States, at least in the last few years. I believe they take safety as one of their biggest concerns and ensure that whatever they put there doesn't affect the city, doesn't affect the soil and so forth. I also believe that bringing Jiffy Lube there is only going to attract other big entities to look at the other property that's still vacant. So we can. What this helps us, both the city and myself, is it brings a good value to the city. Bringing good tenants, good national tenants, really brings good value to the city. And lastly, I wanted to say is the city's been great to us. We've been working with the city, for the past 5 years. I bought the property in 2018, worked through, all the city requirements, and I think this will be a successful business there, and this will help bring good business to the city as well. Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
Council? That's a good thing it wasn't us being smart aleck. No? Okay. Bob? Chief? Rod? Okay. So that's the powerhouses to be. I see no reason to keep this going on. So at this point, we'll move on to... Oops. Where am I at? Here we go. Did you get that email? Okay. I had a request to read an email from somebody who is afraid to come up here because of COVID. And I'm going to have that email read right now by City Secretary. Yeah, I can't see that.
This is from Diana and Pablo Donati, 12239 Montecito. They say, we write once more to comment on the proposed Jiffy Lube oil that seeks a permit to open on Kirkwood and West Airport. Once again, as decade-old residents who know our city well, we write to express our firm opposition to any car repair or mechanic shop at that location. Our answer is no. Any car repair shop will bring traffic, environmental degradation, noise pollution, and do untold damage to the corner, to the city, and specifically to those neighbors that will be forced to live next door and will suffer the brunt of the damage caused by the increase of vehicle traffic, cars idling, and worse. As a reminder, it is expected that a majority of the cars sold in the future will be electric vehicles, meaning this is also a dying business, if not today, soon. What happens when these places inevitably close in a few years? The city should plan ahead with a long lens looking at future development in terms of decades, not years, especially when the short-term outlook has such negative impact on our quality of life. Looking back, we think of room. In hindsight, most of us wish the city had not allowed them to come, granted them the commercial option, were more limited on Dorrance. Neighbors on the side of Dorrance, Bloomington, etc., now have to live with traffic lights or even loud alarms that go off and wake everybody up in the middle of the night and don't stop regardless of how many times you call 911. Car business inevitably means increased road wear and tear due to heavy traffic jams, increased risks of accidents. Meadows Place will be forced to pay for repairs not only to the roads, but also the roundabouts, landscaping, and more. Kirkwood and West Airport is our small town's prime commercial corner at present. Whatever comes is now going to set the tone for decades to come. As we said before, roundabouts look great. Starbucks brings in visitors that will linger and shop nearby, and it is a source of enjoyment for Meadows Place residents. Why bring a polluting eyesore that will automatically become a disincentive for any other nicer businesses to come to our city and will hurt not only our quality of life but the environment? A reverse Whole Food effect, if you will. We just need to look at West Belfort and 59 to see what could happen. And for those worried about servicing their cars, there are already several places almost within walking distance we can go to. We feel confident the economic development team can explore other options. There's no rush to bring business to this last resort. As always, thank you for listening to our concerns. Unfortunately, we will not be able to attend the meeting, so please make sure this email is entered into the minutes.
And that's why I wanted to get that read. It was a request to be put in and put in the minutes, so I wanted everybody to do that. I want to point out a couple things. And boy, if I could write a letter like that, I'd go in the writing business. That's a good deal. How much traffic it's going to increase? A little, 50 to 60 a day. How many would be through in there? I don't know. Could I even tell the difference in 50 to 60 a day? I don't think so. That's not my concern. What my concern is, what is it going to do to make Meadows Place more attractive to folks on the outside? And having facilities that will service us in however many areas is part of it. I'm more worried about the one on the other end than I am here because this thing's tucked away in the corner. You can't even see it. Am I for or against this? I'm not for or against this specific thing. I was just for something there. And I've heard a lot of people tell me, well, I want a Whole Foods, I want a salad joint, I want an H-E-B, I want something. Well, we've been wanting for 25 years. How many of you, and I'm certain some of the people in this city know somebody that has a business that they can come open. So if you don't know anybody that can bring a business in, then I'm suggest you need to go find somebody or at least cut us a little slack as we try to go out and put businesses in. Whether this one comes back, whether council wants to vote on it or not, I don't know. But please, I'm serious. Somebody walked up to the owner of Kelly's and said, you need to put a Kelly's here in Meadows Place. His next response was, where's that? Well, we still have a little bit of that, but we're overcoming a lot. And one of the things is we're bringing in businesses like Starbucks, which brings a whole lot more than 50 or 60 cars a day in. And we do maintain and manage all of those. I want to put one thing to say. We do work those businesses. We do a business check once a week with the cops, if not more often. Our code enforcement walks in every one of them and manages to put their eyeballs on it. And in some place it's TCEQ related, we get our questions answered by our Rod Haney, our department head over for Public Works, who's in writing all the permits. So those are all legitimate concerns. And I just want to let you know, those I think are not a concern to me, because we can manage and handle those. Whether that's the business we want there, that's a different issue. But I don't want you to worry about anything that comes in here, because we're going to be all over it and we're going to be on top of it. In case you didn't know it, we're only 1 square mile. It doesn't take us a long time to check this stuff out. Okay? Unless somebody else has something additional to add to the conversation, I'm going to close this public hearing. And I want to thank P&Z, who is now, I understand, going to go deliberate. And I want to thank Praveen. And I want to thank was Amy Pierce with Jiffy Lube and everybody who got up and spoke. So thank you very much. And with that, unless somebody objects, calling this meeting adjourned. All right, Jesse, thanks.
For the audience, if you do want to observe P&Z, you can. That is an open meeting as well. And then it'd be helpful if Amy, you'd go with them as well.